Hi everyone, thanks so much for following the Meet Me for Coffee podcast on the road. We are back at it again, creating more special edition content here at the Trimble Insight 2025 conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. If you guys like the content that you watch in this episode, be sure to go back and check out the channel to see all of the other amazing on-site interviews that are taking place this week here in New Orleans. And thanks for meeting us for coffee. Hi everyone, thank you so much for listening in to what is actually going to be my final recording here at the Trimble Insight Conference in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is day 2 and we are wrapping it up. This is evening time for us. You guys are hopefully going to be seeing this tomorrow morning, but I am joined by Abby and Cindy. And ladies, would you please introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do at Trimble.
Yes, perfect. I would love to. So my name's Abby Griffith. I am a senior product manager here at Trimble, and my main product that I've been working on for the last year is our new Trimble TMS that we just announced here at Insight. So.
Hi, I'm Cindy Witzigman. I've been at Trimble 12 years. I'm working with Abby on the new Trimble TMS, and my areas are back office as well as the TMS, but that's the area that she's given to me to work on.
Awesome. Well, tell me more about this new TMS solution. There was a lot of fun announcements and cool product announcements around this conference, but obviously a big one would be this new TMS solution.
For sure.
So can you kind of give me the high-level overview of what's going on?
Yeah, I would love to. So we announced Trimble TMS. We have a couple of different options for our customers to take advantage of it and get involved. First is one, we're building it in modules. So our carriers love the idea of rip and replace. Big bang implementations, not at all. So they've got the ability to kind of implement that in modules. We've got 2 modules ready to go that are talking to 2 of our current TMSs. But we also, if they are ready to make a change today, they can do that. We've got end-to-end functionality working as well, really focused in on long-haul, full truckload, dryer refrigerated carriers right out of the gate.
Okay, so this TMS solution is kind of like the new and improved version, and so you guys are working to help customers if they choose to transition from one of your existing solutions into a new.
Yep, and I'm going to say maybe, like new and improved, it's definitely new. So we're not trying to rebuild any of the current TMSs in the cloud. It's reimagined, it's written on a new data model, so we're taking a look at how today's users want to interact with their TMS and really approaching it from a fresh perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and starting with a new data model, it allows us all to talk the same language. Like in trucking, some people call a load, some can call it a trip, I've got an order, and we have one language. And because we're not bringing all that baggage forward, it's a lot faster and cleaner and more intuitive. Yeah,
I've heard a lot about all of the many different ways we describe the same things when we're talking about like AI and machine learning and especially like in the agent space, and we're talking about how like there is no really, somebody recently I heard them say like there is no standardization like in our space. Like everybody has a slightly different way that they do something, that they define something, they talk about it. So that's a really interesting call out. So we're trying to make sure we're I guess, building for the future of being able to find some type of normalization of all of this data. Yeah.
Let's be clear. Cindy gets full credit for that too. She will keep me honest and correct me very quickly. That's one. If you couldn't tell, it's her passion project. So she's
data governance.
How about this? I think like we could all, appreciate a really candid conversation around TMSs. People. They love them. They love to hate them sometimes. It's like you have to have a TMS. It's so critical in our space. If you're a shipper, if you're a broker, if you're a carrier, if you are moving goods and you're moving freight, a TMS becomes kind of like that central lifeline for your transportation. So tell me more about like what you think is a good way to describe the current TMS space. What priorities are emerging for people as they're looking at TMSs? What advancements have TMSs made in general? You guys have obviously been making these advancements. What drove those? And then kind of ultimately, what do you think defines like a strong TMS from a weaker TMS product?
Well, I'm going to point out what one that highlighted in my mind was what drove this TMS. And I don't know if you're aware, but Abby has over 20 years plus in trucking. I have over 30 years as truckers and shipper and warehousing and brokers.
Yeah.
And so that's what drove us to make something new.
Yes.
And with that in mind, that it works because we talk the same language and we're looking at the forward. We've experienced the heartache and how do we make it better?
Yeah. And so you guys we've been through such a period of rapid change over the last 5 years as technology has really evolved, and there's a lot of benefits, right, to be gained for these fleets and for these shippers through this technology. But how do we kind of sift through like what's important, what's noise, what belongs in a TMS solution, what do they actually need when they come to us for this technology?
So I'm going to say, like, one, with this TMS, we are looking to our external stakeholders to help drive that, right? We, instead of listening to squeaky wheels, listening to just the handful of customers that have certain ears, we have an engagement portal. We've got over 200 carriers, and they're giving us feedback. So one, we're truly trying to build a product for the industry, not, customizations for a specific view. But what we hear a lot is integrations, right? There are a lot of vendors in the supply chain right now. We want to be good partners, be good supply chain players. So one, it's first step, integration, do the two systems talk. But then, like Cindy said, we sat in that seat and we've used systems where they may be talking to each other, but they're not, the workflow isn't connected, right? You would walk up to a CSR and they'd have 6 different tabs open and 2 other portals open over here on another screen. And so we're trying to be really intentional about integrating, have the systems talk to each other, but then be intentional about that user interface and making sure that user has the right information at the right time to make the right decision.
Yeah. So I had Kate on, who hosted the Partner Showdown this morning, and so
She's fun.
Yes, we kind of did a recap of that, and what we talked about too, the importance of providing that connectivity experience within a TMS for your clients' other tech tools that they might be using or exploring. So how has that also been a part of what you guys are doing? How are you evaluating, is our system built to connect seamlessly with others if we need to move data or we need to speak and communicate across different platforms even?
You're speaking my language, hallelujah. Really, because that's the data governance and making sure that it works with us, but it works with everybody, and our APIs can be open and easy to use.
Yeah.
It's because I'm a data geek, it's documented.
Yeah.
How many APIs I've tried to use, and then I have to make a whole bunch of phone calls and emails and trying to use their APIs. And so that's the other part that we're bringing with it is the documentation.
To make connectivity easier for people. Yeah, because we're still working on that. We're trying to get better with that, right? Because integration's like a bad word in our industry, and trying to think about being more connected has been a challenge for a lot of us. Speaking of challenges, when you guys, we're launching a new TMS product here. There's a lot of people out there who inevitably have to go through the evaluation of, do I need a new TMS? Do I need to upgrade my TMS? What changes do I need to make? But it's such I actually had a guest on earlier who said that he was joking, but he kind of maybe wasn't. He said, I feel like people are more likely to get divorced than leave their TMS sometimes. And I was like, oh gosh, that's terrible. But I think the sentiment behind that is it can be such a painful experience for people, and change management is difficult when it's your primary operating system. So how have you guys, what have you learned about change management and helping people through TMS changes?
We'll point at each other.
Yeah, I have lived through a big bang implementation at a full truckload carrier. I'm going to point to you because you were an implementation specialist here at Trimble, so you've lived through several of those.
Yes.
Yourself. So we've both been through that change management piece, and honestly, I think both our shared experiences are why we're doing that modular approach, because I think
rather than having to go through everything and something breaking along the way, you do it in a little piece at a time. You have confidence in this, we move to the next one. We have confidence in all of it, but it's built so you don't have to do everything at once. And change is hard. And if you try to have the whole system change, all the people you're impacting. But if you can do little ones, you get a breather, and you move on.
Yeah, feel comfortable with one part and then move on. Yeah, that's always a tip, that they give in like speaking, or if you have to give a speech or anything, they say like memorize first part and then you add the second sentence, and then as you repeat it so many times moving through, right, like you gain confidence in your ability to articulate that. So I think it's very similar when you're like executing an operational process, right?
Agreed, yeah.
You get one part down, you move to the next while you're still learning the first part and getting better at it by the time you're adopting the second. So hopefully by the end of it, you have quite a bit of proficiency across that process. Well, I want to say, how should people be thinking about their TMS outside of just maybe like the transportation sector? Like how do you evaluate, hey, is my TMS serving my overall business strategy? Like, does a company's overall business strategy and what they do and how they operate and what they're hoping to accomplish, does that impact the decision they make when they're evaluating their TMS?
I mean, it definitely should. I mean, there are, one, from an overall business strategy piece, we have one of the modules that it's our reporting piece, it's our KPI piece, where you've got VPs, directors, managers that can come in, get a health of the business, but then there's also that action plan piece where, like, I was a CSR and I heard, we should reduce deadhead. I don't know what that means. I just book the loads that are in front of me. But with this, you've got the ability to push action plans down to say, hey, Abby, like, do these 3 things tomorrow, and we've improved that KPI or that metric. But then outside of just like health of the business, what's your workforce look like today, and what's your workforce going to look like tomorrow?
Sure.
And we've had this conversation a lot. Like, I can give you the best, most intuitive TMS, which I think we've built, but I mean, it's still going to be impactful. It's still going to be change management. It's the devil I know, right? Like, I'm just going to stick here because I know which buttons to click. You're bringing a new kid off the street, right? It's your new CSR, new load planner, new driver manager. They don't know that system. Do you have something that's intuitive that will be easy to train on?
Make educated, good decisions. I mean, having somebody brand new that you're trying to onboard can cost you a lot of money till they get up to speed, and that's what we've been looking at, and with Abby's guidance, looking at just learning the exceptions, giving them good tools so they can make good, smart decisions and be profitable up front, and give them confidence in what they do.
Yeah.
And another piece of that I think you were saying about TMS in the industry, supply chain management. You have the warehouse management tool, you have the transportation, and so if you're smart in logistics, whether you need all the pieces and they need to work together, and that's what we're trying to build is with our open APIs. And that's one of my situations in real life. I worked with a private fleet. We had our warehouse data coming in and trying to make that work with our TMS, and then trying to get it out to my drivers. It was a constant fight with data. And I'm a data geek, but but it was a headache.
I mean, I remember, I was in sales when I started my career, and I worked, we had a managed solution, and I was talking to some of our nation's, larger shippers, and I was like, okay, well, trying to understand where the disconnect is in transportation management teams and the warehouse teams and distribution teams happen all the time because the two systems didn't connect. They're lifeblood systems. The WMS and the TMS had like major gaps between them, and it made it really hard to try to make like overall business strategy decisions about like how do we manage our operations and our supply chain, and like why are we having issues providing top level service to one of our customers because we can't quite trace where something's going wrong. So bringing that
and being able to go back and forth the information, where I worked, it was all one way, and then when things happen down here downstream, it was a booger to get that information back. And this is, it will, if they choose to, be bidirectional and pull that information back.
I think from everything I've heard the last couple of days and just, throughout this year, I think this concept of being able to make actionable insights out of data, like actually being able to say, okay, we see something happening, like right now, here's what we can do about it. And so like ideally you see things happening in your TMS because that's where you should be spending most of your time if you're in transportation.
Right.
So my TMS is giving me the visibility into what's going on out there right now, and saying like, hey, do you want to do something about this? That we can, like, we still have a chance to be proactive or to make a change or to improve the outcome.
Yep.
So that's not a place we've been historically.
No, usually you're reacting.
Yes.
To the latest phone call, latest text message.
People like to say we're firefighters in transportation, right? When instead, we'd much rather be preventing the fires in the first place.
True.
So, yeah. Well, last question for you ladies. That's a lie. I have a couple, but last question about this topic. What advice would you give to someone who is going to be tasked, say, in the new year here with evaluating TMS technology, or even maybe just evaluating if they're like fully utilizing their current TMS to the best of its abilities?
I would put hands on it, right? Go put hands on it, and also involve your frontline users, your stakeholders, right? Like we have that conversation a lot here, especially as we're building this TMS. I love to talk to CIOs, VPs of IT. That's amazing. They don't use my product every day.
Yeah.
You should be going to that. I promise you, every carrier is going to have like that one driver manager that he has the most amount of drivers and you're not sure how he pulls it off every day, but he does, or that CSR that's just customers love him and it's amazing, and go talk to them, get them involved, get them their hands on it. If you're not doing that, it's a huge mess.
Yeah, because it's not happening in a vacuum.
Yeah.
And so you need those people and that input. And then if you're evaluating, can it meet your needs now, but what's your future look like? What is your strategy? That's what I'm always, when I would evaluate a piece of software, I'm looking at 5-10 years down the road, because you don't want to go through this,
Again.
And right now another big thing is it flexible enough to grow with me? Can it scale? And we're seeing scaling issues with some of the older software. These should scale. That would be one of my things on my checklist. How can it handle my business in 5 to 10 years?
This isn't something we want to be redoing every couple of years. It's going through a new TMS implementation just to be able to keep up and be current. Yeah. Is it already built with the future in mind and able to progress?
Right.
Yeah.
Can it handle my needs now? Because if I'm going to do this, I'm going to need it right now. But can it keep going and growing with me?
Yeah.
I haven't met a trucker yet that said, "Oh, I think I'll just let things slide off."
Yeah. Well, now my last question would be, I've been asking people to give advice on various topics, but I wanted to take advantage of having several of us women in logistics up here. And so what advice would you guys give specifically to any women in the technology supply chain space as we are heading into a new year?
So I'm going to go first. I'm going to give credit to Cindy, though. She pushes me a lot on the be confident, you deserve your seat at the table type of thing. I'm going to I'll take your advice, but that's it. Understand that you deserve your seat at the table. Even if you're the only female there, you deserve to be there. Be confident. Don't apologize for being an expert on the things that you're an expert on. Just own it.
Yes.
So I would say you would want to get a mentor.
Yeah.
But take your time. Don't rush yourself, but watch the people, the interactions. The mentor can be just an ally. It doesn't have to be a female mentor. And in my world, there weren't other female. I was, so mine were male. But so I'm just saying, find that ally, learn from them, listen to them. The other thing is to, as she said, be confident in yourself. Too many of us may have been raised to sit back and listen. We have great ideas, but we don't take ownership for them. And that would be the other thing. If I was mentoring somebody, is you need to be proud of your work and say, I did this.
Yeah.
And that's where I wasn't raised that way, that you say, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
And we need to speak up for ourselves, especially when we're maybe the only one in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. I appreciate the advice, ladies. And if anyone is listening in and they're like, wow, this sounds like there were some cool announcements going on at Trimble Insight, but I wasn't there this year, what would you say is a reason they should consider checking out Trimble Insight next year?
You missed a lot of cool stuff. We did a lot of very cool sessions. I had 8 speaking sessions this
You were super busy.
last 2 days. Yes. But we had hands-on demo. So we had our user experience guy sitting upstairs, letting users get their hands on it and test it. That's what you missed this year. You missed an opportunity to kind of see it firsthand, put hands on it, and give us that real-time feedback. So yeah, definitely show up next year.
Cool.
And the people that stopped by that I spoke with were really curious about how does this work, and then I would send them up there. They had that up, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
we had the techie people that wanted the tech, and we have tech experts here. We wanted people who are just everyday users, and how is my people going to use it. So both of those experiences were here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I know you've had a very busy day, so it's getting late, but thank you so much for making this podcast a part of your time at Trimble, so we can kind of share with all the people who weren't able to be here a little more about what's going on.
We appreciate the invite. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys, and thanks everyone for meeting us for coffee.
All right.
Thanks for meeting us for coffee today. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to check out our channels and subscribe. It would also mean a lot if you could leave us a rating or a review. If you're listening on LinkedIn, feel free to drop your thoughts or your questions in the comment section, and we'd be happy to get back to you. Thanks again.